We're live. Welcome to a special kind of video. Today we're going to do an interview, the first interview ever on my YouTube channel, and it's going to be good. It's going to be quite good. I'm looking forward to it. So if you're watching this right now, I'll actually just ask in the Discord chat if someone can share this link, and that would be nice. Can streaming now? Can someone share my stream link in video uploads and in this general chat? Yeah, that's around how quickly I'm typing. I don't really type too quickly. Like, to be like one guy, well, a person typing what everyone is saying in a conversation, that's a hefty skill. Like, that's a crazy skill to have, to type that quickly. It's quite impressive. Also, Ragnar. I'm mixing up names. I meant Mike. When you can join the Discord chat, please do so. Yeah, because we're going to interview 4 senior moderators who were a moderator in who were moderators for the Facebook chat. Hello, Dortor Mixers and Relax Gamers. Today we're going to have a question and answer type of thing. A lot of important questions. A lot of people, I'm sure, are curious about. And I'm sure we'll get a lot of answers. And the internet can totally see you now. To stop, use your encoder. Well, that's kind of cool. I didn't realize that on YouTube. Yeah, I'm just on the face cam right now. But we're going to ask a lot of questions to some moderators, and we're going to get a lot of questions. Like, for example, is it worth it to become a moderator? How do the developers treat their moderators? And we'll get a little bit of insight over how they're treated and how things works in the upper management, I guess. Well, not in the management of the customer service the game has. I cannot beat you in a race. No, I can't. I'm not the Flash. Okay, so we need to get Bow in. Well, no, Bow. We don't care about anonymity as anonymity. I can't even type. I can't even speak. Okay, so let's go right ahead and open up the Discord here. Let's get ready now. Okay, guys. So I'm currently live streaming. You can talk if you want to. We'll start with the questions very soon. We're just getting a few people in. We have 13 people watching currently. Hello there, Michael Stoppa. Michael Stoppa? Michael? Is it Michael you say it? Or is it, how was it in Polish? Michał or something? I think it was something like that. Amro, welcome. So today it's going to be a revolutionary thing. We're going to figure out everything. We're going to figure out, like, we're just going to figure out everything in this world. Volcano. Oh, yeah, right. That's such a cool name. That's such a cool name, Volcano. Yeah, we're ready in about 3 minutes. Yeah, because this stream was originally going to start in 3 minutes, but I wanted to start it off a little bit early, so we're ready for the questions and answers. So this will sadly not be. I will record League of Angels 2. Oh, thank you, Michał. Yeah, I felt like I got that. But yeah, I'm going to live stream League of Angels 2 while the interview is going on, so don't worry about that. We will have some League of Angels 2 in here, but the main point of this live stream is to hello there, NRK. Yeah, remember. Oh yeah, right. Hello there, Brian Cheever. 20 people watching. Thank you so much. I will live stream League of Angels 2, but the main point of this is this interview, where we're going to interview previous moderators. Okay, you're there. Let's see here. Where are you in? Wait, are you Big Bear? Yeah, give me a second, guys. I just have to invite the 4th, and yeah, we're going to interview 4 Discord not Discord moderators. What am I talking about? Facebook moderators for the game. This is going to be like freaking drama alert, League of Angels 2 edition. Kidding, it's not going to be drama alert. It's not going to be a lot of well, it's not going to be a lot of drama, but it will give you guys an insight over how do you want to become a moderator? After this live stream, you probably do not want to become a moderator. Let's just put it that way. And we're going to interview 4 people, and they're like going to talk and stuff, so it's not only going to be me talking. Liosart just won. I still am. I just have a little bit of a break from it right now. I've traveled, I've worked, so I just haven't had time to invest. I haven't had time to invest in it. Michael, please join right now. Please join right now. Okay, guys. Moderators, interview people, everyone in here. You can unmute now if you want to. You can unmute. Okay, cool. So I'm going to be asking questions any second now. There we go. Okay, we got it. Let's give Chalice the permissions here. Chalice, there we go. Let's get ready to start. Let's do that. Okay, now you're able to join, Chalice, and everything will be good. So the link to this live stream is under video uploads. Let me share it here. There we go. There we go. There we go. Okay, are we ready, guys? I cannot hear you currently. Can you guys speak so I know that? Okay, so I cannot hear you. Oh, never mind. I can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Okay, good. Hopefully everyone else can hear you as well. Brittany, your audio was kind of low. Could you turn it up in the settings?
Sure.
Yeah, okay, now you're actually good. Maybe it's because I took up my volume a lot.
I have bronchitis, so I apologize. I sound terrible.
Yeah, you don't have to do it actually. Your audio is fine. I can see it on the program. Okay, so we'll start off by concerning devs and mods questions. And I want to thank Christy. Is that can I like say your name, please? Okay, it's too late now.
Yeah, that's good.
Okay, so okay, you guys can answer one at a time. So just so we don't get a lot of cluster. How does developers treat their moderators?
Like
I'll let Christy go first.
Treat their moderators. You're not respected. Very big lack of communication. And when you do reach out to try and get that communication going so that you can help players, there's often excuses or, you know, it's just they don't really have a lot of time to try and do things with you. Busy, they've got a company to run. But it's hard to help players when tweens are often ignored, or if you speak out against, hey, I don't think that's a good idea, we should try this, you're insulted. Like, there's such a lack of respect there.
Okay. Yeah, I agree.
I mean, as a team leader, I was the team leader for the fan page. Half the time I didn't even know who to go to. It seemed like every other month we were getting a new leader or a new dev or something was changing, and then when you went and put stuff in the quote unquote dev channel to get answers to, sometimes it would just get ignored. Or they would come back with, well, we'll test it and see, or we'll get back to you. And most of the time they wouldn't even get back to you. And then if you complain too much, you know, then obviously we all know what happens there. You end up, after spending 2 years as a team leader, getting a Dear John letter and being told that you're no longer needed. So
yeah, that's such... I'm just so amazed over how unprofessional the entire system is. How they treat their people.
No idea. We got called Nazis. We got called... it was just the most... I kept saying, I feel so demeaned right now. Please stop talking down to me. Because it was just a total lack of respect for anything that we've put into this.
Yeah. Like, I haven't had too much experience with the developers because I haven't been to oh my bad, unmute you. Chalice, you can unmute yourself. You're allowed to talk here. So you can unmute by clicking the microphone beside your name on Discord. Chalice doesn't fully understand how this is at the moment.
He actually might be on his phone, so
yeah.
he might have it.
But I think I'd like to input a little bit about how developers treat their moderators as well. From my experience, sometimes the lack of communication is quite horrific. Like when I type, for example, to a developer, it's like a 50-50 chance that I get an answer or not. And when they do answer, they usually do not. They're not like helping in the sense that a normal developer should help. Like if you have, for example, a bug report or suggestion, a normal developer or someone who actually handles that, they actually take it further and say like, yeah, we'll talk to the bug fix team or whatever. But these developers, they come up with excuses, as you guys are saying, and that's quite a bad thing. Instead of coming up with excuses, they could as well just say no. But if they say no, it makes them sound bad, but they're already like, by making excuses, they already are that, I guess, in a way.
Yeah. There's like a lot of excuses that happens, and one of my favorites is that they don't have time, that they're busy with this or meetings or that. But then when we don't have a night shift person anymore because they fired him, they come on and start giving us a hard time about our timing being off. You know, like on fan page, we had 100%, but we were a few hours behind because it was Christmas, and you know, we didn't have a night shift mod on anymore. He was gone, and out to us about not having the time for us, but we were expected to give up family time, not sleep. Like, you just had to give everything to them, and they gave you nothing in return. Like, they just wanted all of your time, and it didn't matter if you were sick or if you had a loved one in the hospital or any of that. If your numbers were down, you were in trouble, but they could go off and do whatever they wanted and not have to be there for you.
Well, and a perfect example of that is when they had the tsunami or hurricane or typhoon or whatever over in where the company is. Me and Mike were on for probably 2 days. We both did anywhere between 20-hour shifts. This was before Julie and Christy had started. And, you know, we were promised a bonus because, you know, we worked 18-hour shifts. We covered the fan page, kept it at 100%. Because at that time, GT Arcade had also shut down. So they had no forums, no nothing. It was just strictly everybody was coming to fan page. We never saw the bonus. We never got a thank you. We never got a good job. We never got anything.
Yeah, that's so unappreciative. Like, they don't care. Like, it just shows how little they care about their moderators, that they just, even though they said you would get a bonus or whatever, and you put freaking 20 hours for pretty much voluntary work for free, they didn't even care. Which is extreme, to be honest. That is quite insane. Mike, if you cannot unmute right now, I don't know, because Mike, you should be able to unmute because you have all the permissions now. On phone app, let me see for a moment here on my phone, and then we'll get over to the next question, because I think we have said about everything that can be said. Well, I guess a few more things can be said. So let me just see here whether I actually don't know how I would unmute on voice and video. Yeah, I'm not sure, but if you have anything to input, Chalice, you just type it into the Skype chat and I will read it out loud for you. But let's head over to the next question. So, is it worth everything to be a mod? Question mark.
When you break it down, it's less than $1 per hour. They ask you to put in a minimum of 4 hours. And I don't know if we're allowed to talk about how much we were paid, but essentially it boiled down to less than $1 an hour for what you put in.
Yeah, that's not a lot. And I guess we can say you don't get the real salary. You do not get real money. Like, you get... well, we're not going to specify how much a moderator does get. But again, they get a value of like $1 an hour. And I don't think anyone would want to work for that. And even then, being treated so poorly from the last question, is it worth it to be paid $1 an hour and not appreciated at all? That's another thing as well.
I mean, we all knew going in that we weren't going to get paid real cash for this, you know, so it wasn't like it was a big surprise there. But when you go in and you're told, okay, well, you can work 2 4-hour shifts and everything's, you know, okay, cool. But then you don't have a full team, so you become a team player. And Mike and Julie and myself and Bo, we all got really close because there for a while it was just the 4 of us doing everything. And we pulled 12, 18, 20-hour shifts. And even though the price of the topaz and stuff doesn't equate like a good wage, it wasn't even about that anymore. It was more so, it's not worth what you go through, the disrespect you get, and constantly being insulted and told that you're not doing things right, but they won't tell you what they expect from you. So it's like you're always sitting there going, what am I supposed to do? If this isn't expected of me, what am I supposed to do? Oh, well, we'll tell you in a few days. They're going to trash you for, right. There's like, beyond Bo, there was no leadership. There was nothing to tell us except that we weren't doing things right.
Hello there. Thank you, Yukin Melody, for the $2 donation. It's going great. It's going great. Sorry to interrupt you in the middle of that, but thank you so much. It's going great. I've just gotten home from traveling to my sister, so it's great. Thanks to you so much for the donation. And again, like, I understand that, because when I was never a moderator in such a way that I did Facebook things, I didn't do forum things, so I definitely understand why.
You were on my team. I was the one in charge of paying you, though.
Yeah, right. I liked that. I liked getting paid. But anyway, I did a lot of other things on YouTube and stuff, and when I got fired, it was like, first of all, like I told the developer this, that the reason why I got fired was illegitimate. Then he said, oh yeah, he misunderstood it, and then he said another reason. But why they need to get all the information before firing someone. They need to get every single detail. They can't just fire someone because someone says, oh, he should get fired. Like, well, they're firing people too quickly.
With you, in your example, yeah, they didn't have the whole story.
Yeah,
and then like, they only pick and chose what part of the story they wanted to listen to, because you weren't the only one when that issue was brought to me, because it was brought to me by a player on that stolen, because I'm going to call it stolen because we all know that's what happened.
Yeah, the Discord. We'll talk about the Discord afterwards. I'm sure we'll have a lot of
there was 3 or 4 other mods on there doing things that violated the TOS. Now yours, I just had a question about it, because your thing where you had the extra account that you were giving away.
Yeah, right.
All I did was say, okay, I have a question about this, and then I also sent them the screenshot of one of the mods. I think it was Halls, had a PayPal account saying you could add money to my PayPal account to get information on.
And that's yeah. Can I talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, go ahead.
That is very unfair in a way, because like I said in a chat, which Bad Sector, I'll say his name, that asshole, he said he sent that to the leadership and developers. I've screenshot of me saying I'm just like a developer. I said that jokingly, but I didn't say in the sentence that I joked because I thought everyone figured out it was a joke. And then when I joked about that, that felt like a freaking part of me getting fired because that was sent and then I was fired a little bit after. So if I get fired by joking about being like a dev, why did not Holz get fired for actually sending a freaking PayPal link saying for people to donate to him, even though it's a fake PayPal link?
my theory on the whole why Halls didn't get fired is because Halls and Beatrix seem to be quite tight. So I think because Beatrix was involved in that too. Because my thing is, if you're a mod on if you're a mod and you see something going on in a Discord channel, Skype, or even in the game, and you know what's wrong, it's your job as a mod to come back and say, hey, wait a minute, or they're wrong, they need to do something about it.
Yeah.
She just ignored it. So to me, she's just as bad as Halls is. But yeah, they just said, oh, we were joking, and they got nothing. But yet you got fired for doing less than that.
Yeah, like I got fired for such a bad reason. By the way, I just have to say thank you, Dragon Spears. How many suggestions did the developers take into consideration, and how many were actually put into motion? You guys can answer.
Suggestions are largely ignored.
Yeah, nothing goes. It's got to be their idea or it's a bad idea.
You get the same response to every suggestion. We'll take into consideration or maybe in the future. And it's just over and over and over again, but nothing happens.
We had pages and pages and pages of suggestions, and most of the time it was just replied with something like, we'll take into consideration, or no, not going to happen, or it was just marked as read and completely ignored beyond that.
Yeah, that's like I've come up with freaking so many good ideas. I feel like people have said that they're good, and I tell it to them, and they're like, "Yeah, we'll take it on later time." Yeah, it's put into the suggestions.
I actually have screenshots of that if you wanted to use them.
Yeah,
that are on that link I sent you earlier.
Yeah, can you resend it, and I'll see if I can pull it up.
Sure, not a problem. Give me just a moment.
Yeah, I know at one point on the old doc, we had a suggestions page. It had probably, oh my God, 400 suggestions on it. And then I know as Facebook page, we had created a suggestion page, and that probably had another probably 100 on it. And yeah, the answers were, not going to do it, maybe in the future, or just read or ignored. And some of them were really good. I mean, some of them were really good suggestions that would have been easy to add, and yeah, they just got
straight up ignored,
pretty
much. Like it's because from what I understand, they're built like they have systems and things planned for parts 1, let's say Q1 of a year, and then Q2 and Q3 and Q4, from beginning to mid to end of the year pretty much. And suggestions, it's not a part in their budget. It's not like they're not paid to do it. They just have the suggestions, but they ignore them because like they just don't implement anything. They have already planned things, and that's a horrible thing because they should always take feedback and suggestions from players, because it's the players playing their game. It's not their bosses telling them what to do. Their bosses is not playing the game. They should take suggestions from players actually playing the game, in my opinion.
Oh, I agree. I mean, Mike come up with a really good suggestion, because we had that whole two-man team issue where people were, playing around adding, people to their teams, and create an automatic bot or something that gets put in those places so they have to add. But they were just like, oh, we can't do that. But instead, they would rather sit there and listen to players complain because one person has a one-man team and he's destroying everybody because all he has to do is focus on that one man he has on his team, which isn't the way the game was rigged to work. But they found a workaround, which is a bad thing. And all players are complaining about it, but the devs, they're like, no, we're not going to do anything about it. We're just going to, you know, go with what we got. And we're
Yeah,
like, oh, okay.
Yeah, they're kind of stingy when it comes to new ideas and bug fixing, especially in old systems. Because from how well, I can go on that rant afterwards. But let's go over to the next question. Why don't your developers or mods have a room or a direct link to be contacted? If you guys want to answer that, you can.
I mean, there's never been an actual why they don't have one. Like, they never came out and told us. But as someone who worked fan page and then later became a senior, it's brutal.
Yeah.
And they are so unhappy with the way things work. So we are basically thrown into, you know, in front of the developers to take the hit for them when players are unhappy. Then they get to talk to us instead of, well, to read their file, but with the actual verbal abuse that comes along with it. And they don't have the time for, you know, their mods to deal with. They're not going to have time for players too.
Yeah, and I disliked it so much because moderators, well, developers and players, they're completely separated. Like, as a player, you have no chance to contact the developer. And that's such a bad thing that they use mods as punching bags and then take the reports from the mods. And they don't even pay the mods to take the hit. And people still applied to be mods because they thought it would be a good thing. Like, oh, mod, we can have a moderator title. Oh, we can get a little bit of moderator salary. But the way the mods are treated is horrible, while the mods are already being treated horrible from the players. So mods are being treated horribly from the top and the bottom.
The turnover rate of mods is quite unbelievable.
Yeah, like...
Yeah. In the 2 years I was a team leader, I probably went through, I would easily say, probably 75 to 100 mods.
Yeah, that's extreme. 75 to 100 mods for crying.
Right, but if you're dealing with every day when you get on, I mean, this is why we have quote unquote and whatever, where nobody knows who we are. Because if you gave somebody your name and told them who you really were, like me, it was easy to find. My in-game name was Bo. My real name is Bo. I mean, I wasn't scared. They can find me. But
yeah,
there was some people that if they found out your name, I mean, players would attack you. I mean, they would Facebook you. They would Skype you. They would. I mean, any way they could do it. Yeah, they would crush you because for some reason they think we have some say in what goes on, and we really don't. I mean, we're there basically to give you an answer the best we can. And yes, I will say the four of us fought very hard to try to make things better for the players, but turn around and
hard.
I mean, when you turn around and you ask a developer or you know, your boss, hey, can we do this? And they're like, oh, we'll get back to you, and then they never get back to you, or you know, oh yeah, we're gonna fix this, or we'll send out, you know, compensation. And then the compensation is ridiculous, and then they wonder why people are getting mad, but they don't have to deal with it. They leave us to deal with it. We're the ones that get called, you know, vulgar names and get told we're idiots, and you know, it gets tiring after a while.
Yeah, right. Permissions to you. Okay, well, Michael has troubles getting into the... yeah, he's going into his old account. Yeah, give me a moment, Michael. If you went to your old account, I can give you permissions as well. Give me a moment. Chalice. That's a nice one. Okay. There we go. Just adding all permissions to Chalice and see if he can get on. There we go. Now you should be able to have permissions. Now you should be able to unmute. I gave you all permissions. But yeah, like, it's horrific how everything is treated. Let's see if the people have asked anything. Let's see here. Let's see here. Why was I fired? I think I read up a little bit. Also, is League of Legends 2 going to shut down? Probably not. They're earning money off it, so why not? They'll probably stop updating it when they're not earning as much. As for me getting fired, I got fired because a developer said like I wasn't fit for being a Facebook mod. But I was fired in the wrong way. Because they told me like I'm not allowed to... I use the company to promote my own channel. Well, that's not true at all. Like... They specifically told me that you're allowed to recommend to share your channel and stuff on the GT Arcade livestream site, and that was their excuse. That was my firing reason. It was a stupid firing reason, and I got fired for a stupid reason. But the
funny thing is, John, is they actually wanted me to fire you.
Yeah, that's crazy. I know who.
Because I was quote unquote your team leader because you were technically a Facebook, even though you were doing your own thing. But yeah, they come to me and ask me to fire you, and I asked them a reason, and they never came back and gave me a reason. Next thing I know, you're just fired.
Yeah, that's stupid. It was. I'll also mention her name, Oskay, I think it was. Yeah.
And that really traces back to the lack of respect, because Bo was considered as your boss, and they fired you without really even saying much to him other than, well, we want you to fire him, but we're not going to give you a reason. And then he says no, and you're fired anyway. So how are you supposed to lead a team or be a part of a team when it is ignored anyway?
Yeah, like they just went over his head pretty much and said like, yeah,
exactly, and that happened all the time.
Well, yeah, because I had mentioned that Beatrix should be fired too. If they were going to fire you, then Beatrix and Hall should have been fired as well, because they violated the same TOS that you supposedly violated. No, they were. I was told that they were not getting fired. They had been talked to.
That's like, yeah. I have no words on it. I was so astonished when I got fired out of nowhere. I was like, I was having a good day, and then they just told me like, oh, we have to fire you. And I'm like, well, okay, this sucks. Why? And they couldn't really specify why. Because I can actually talk about what they said without like mentioning any specific names or whatever. But I have to sneeze. That's not good. So here is what happened. I can actually read off what happened because this is probably fairly interesting for some people. Let's see here. Okay, so she said, well, John, I talked with the dev about you, and I'm sorry that I need to send you away from the team. Using the company to promote your own channel is not appreciated. For this reason, we cannot see you working as a mod. Maybe in a different area, like Discord, we can work again. And I said, like, sure. I was kind of pissed off, so I just said, sure. And then she said, thanks for being kind and not discussing, and then I obviously wanted to discuss. I said the firing reason is not illegitimate. I didn't do anything that I wasn't allowed to. I always asked the devs before I did things. I asked them on my GT Arcade streams if I could advertise my channel, and they said yeah. I have pictures of it even. And then she said they said yes to you giving any characters to players. Like, I didn't say that. I said that I said yes so I could advertise my channel, and then they just straight up went to, oh, they said yes about you giving any charge to players. And I'm like, they say that you're not allowed to sell accounts for money, but sharing was never illegal. You're allowed to share accounts. It's not on them if you get scammed. That's in the terms of agreement. But you're allowed to share, but they won't ban you for sharing your account. The only thing they warn you about is that you can get scammed, and that's totally understandable. And the person's account I said the person's account I have said he was quitting the game and asked me to make it a giveaway. So I did that. I gave his account to another person, so the account just didn't die off. Because what's the point in leaving a dead account when you can actually give it away to someone lucky? And then she said, but the thing is, you're moderators. Moderators can't do it. Okay, so moderators can do it, but no, players can share accounts, but moderators cannot share accounts. Is that like, does moderators have less permissions than normal players now? maybe you don't have any tag, but players know that, and players always might think that we all edit our accounts or do any illegal things, and they are ready to blame us, so we need to take the right steps. And I'm like, how can I cheat? Like, I don't understand what she meant by that. It's just a stupid excuse.
Right, but that's my point right there. She's saying that the mods are held to a higher standard, but yet the other 3 or 2 mods that were involved in the same type of stuff were not fired.
Yeah, now she's like...
They were actually promoted.
Yeah. And I'm promoting accounts. Like, I've logged so many accounts. I'm promoting them, and I've never gotten
This is just my opinion on it, and I mean, anybody can get upset with me for this. I really don't care. I've been told by some of the higher ups that I have an attitude problem. But I think that part of why they got rid of you was they got what they wanted from you. And that's what they do. They just life out of you. They really do. And they get all of your time and all of your attention and all of your devotion. And when you have nothing left to give, or you're gonna be more of trouble than what you're worth to them, they get rid of you. Like Bo, he never had a write-up, he never had a discipline, and they fired him just because he didn't agree with something. And me and Julie walked because they had basically destroyed our team, and we were going to keep fighting tooth or nail, and it just wasn't worth it to fight it every day. And for you, Athena, you had the Discord channel. They wanted to make it official. You were going to fight them on it, so they fired you, and they got what they wanted. They got the Discord.
Yeah.
That's just my opinion, and I know I'm trying to be objective here, so you know, I'm not going to say everything I think, but that to me is why they fired you when they did. They got what they wanted from you, and you were useless to them at that point.
Yeah, they fired me like 5 minutes after.
This is the thing with the whole Discord. My biggest thing was we had an official Discord page already. It just wasn't working how they wanted it to. I said, instead of taking the one we got from Athena that now Beatrix owns and now Neo owns, I said, why don't we just use our own and just let that one go, because that's a black eye. It looks like we stole it. It looks like, you know, we just said, hey, we're a bunch of mods. We're going to go into this channel, and oh, we like it, so guess what? We're going to take it. And that was my thing, is I didn't want any of my mods working on that channel, because to me, it gave us a black eye. It looked like we just commandeered it. And I said, we have our own. Let's just set it up that way. And if, you know, Beatrix is good at setting it up, let her go set that one up. And let's just leave this one alone, because this looks like we stole it. And I think that's why I got fired, is because I wasn't going along with their pirating of Discord.
And when it boils down to it, that's why Chalice got fired as well, because he had made the comment that he did not agree with how the Discord was acquired, and that we just needed to either give that one back or shut it down and start with the official one that Bad had created a while back. And it would have been better to do it that way, because granted, there wasn't as many players on it, but it wasn't stolen, and that would look better for the company. We were never trying to shut it down because of Beatrix or Halls or any of that, despite what they tried to make it look like, because they tried to make it look like we hated Discord. You know, we hated those mods, and we wanted it shut down for that reason. And it wasn't for that. It was like Bo said, it gave the company a black eye, and we spoke out on it. Mike spoke out on it first. He got fired. I spoke out on it. I got threatened to get fired. And if you had an opinion about the Discord, you were being let go left and right. It was just ridiculous with the way it all fell out. It had nothing to do with the Discord itself. We all use Discord. I mean, obviously.
This is the worst part, John, is I actually quit 2 days before I got fired. Because they weren't communicating with me as a team leader. They weren't telling me what was going on. Beatrix knew more than I did about what was going on. So I'd actually quit. Julie and Christy had gone and kind of made a ruckus, and they brought me back. Now, when they brought me back as a team leader, I went Julie, and I went to Christy and said, okay, now we need to draw, you know, we need to pull things back. We need to get reorganized. We need to, you know, stop the drama, refocus, and let's rebuild what we had. I was actually trying to help the Ozog and Beatrix make this better. Yes, we didn't want Beatrix on our team anymore because it was a trust issue, but it didn't mean we didn't like her work. She did a good job, so we said just put her somewhere else for now. And then 2 days later, I go to bed. I say goodnight to everybody, finish my shift, I go to bed. I didn't even get a meeting or anything. When I woke up the next morning, I was booted out of every chat except for one, which was the EN chat. I was sent a letter basically just saying we're going in a different direction and you're no longer needed. And I hope you don't take it personal. After 2 years of being with a company, never getting as much as a write-up, a disciplinary action, I've been a senior since day one. I've been a team leader for the past year. And basically just not even getting a warning, not even getting anything. I just wake up to being gone. After I came back and tried to help them, you know, continue to do what they were doing, I still got crapped on. And so it was just like, okay, you know, I just don't know what to do, because it seemed like no matter where I was at or what I was doing, I was going to get fired because I did not agree with their policy on this whole, you know, the Discord and Beatrix and the way they were going with it. So yeah, that was the day I got fired. Is I didn't even get a warning or anything. I just woke up to being fired.
That is so, like, I don't understand. Like, if I knew this, like, before I wouldn't have become a mad, to be honest. Like, it's so horrible how bad they're treating people. Like, people are literally putting hours into work, hours of work, and they're, like, days, weeks, even months, years, for your sakes, of work, and they just fire you overnight. That's just, yeah, I don't know what to say. It's just so bad.
Well, I wasn't fired. I quit after they fired Mike. They fired Bo, and they were bringing in leadership that along with, and I wasn't going to subject myself to any more insults or, you know, just being put down constantly. So after 3 days of battling, I quit.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't going to stay without my team. I mean, that was the whole thing, is this was a team. You know, we fought for each other and we fought to stay a team, and there was no point in staying beyond that.
Yeah, of course. Like, if your team members gets fired, like, I definitely understand why you left. Because when you're, yeah, like, I definitely understand that. Like, there's not much more to say on that, because if you, for example, if I were a moderator, like I used to be, and I had like super close friends I've made over a year, all of a sudden, like 3 of my friends out of the 5 gets fired, I would also quit, because it would be no fun anymore, because you're doing it because you want to help people and it's fun, and you want to do it with a specific group of people. You have done it for a while, and you don't want to have to work with the people who fired your friends for no good reasons.
Well,
and who
that was my thing. That was my goal as a team leader. I wanted to make it fun. I wanted to make it so that we enjoyed, you know, doing our jobs. But we all agreed from the get-go. We didn't want to do templates. You know, we didn't want to have robotic answers. We wanted to be friendly to the players and be personal with the players, and you know, let the players know that there was somebody there to fight for them. We may not win all the time, but we're there to fight for them. And that's always been my thing, is I'm there for the players. I'm there to help the players. Yes, I work for that company, and yes, there will be certain things that, you know, I have to tell the players that, hey, you can't do this because that's wrong. But I'm also there to help the players because, you know, a lot of them are paying money for this. And when I get told that basically, you know, you have to be there for the company and not the players, and you have to answer everything robotic, or use templates. I'm not going to do that.
Yeah, like that's what developers does to respond to moderators things.
Well, and that's the way the new regime wanted it, is they wanted everything to be a template. They wanted everything to be cookie cutter. And I'm sorry, players, even if somebody comes on the page and says, you know what, I'm pissed off, most of the time one of us would reply with, okay, is there anything we can do to help? You know, what can we do to help you? And that made that player feel good. That's one player that's going to go and say, hey, you know, they took care of me. So they're going to spread that news. Where if you just go in there and click red or, you know, ignore them, and then they wonder why they get, you know, pissed off players.
Yeah, of course.
I mean, you can talk to any of the seniors on here. I had this thing. We always made it fun. We always, you know, we always tried to work together. We always communicated. My team was probably the best communicated team, and that's why we had 100%. I mean, most of the time, if you come on the fan page, we would answer you. It may take us a little bit of time to get to you, but at some point, you were going to get an answer. Where on forums and some of the other places, I know for a fact there's players that have come to fan page and said, hey, wait a minute, I reported this to forums like a month ago, and I still haven't gotten an answer.
Yeah. Facebook is very, I think, challenging to get 100% off 100% because it takes a lot of time. It's a lot of people asking questions and stuff. But anyway, let's head over to the Discord subject. This was actually just planned to be around 50 minutes, but we can definitely continue with this another day with the questions because there's a lot of questions. But I want to cover the Discord thing right now, and we'll comment more on the mods concerning devs and mods another live stream if you guys are willing to do that. But for right now, the question is, why do you keep Discord channel that was taken from a player to make it official but not officially announce it? This was kind of touched on earlier, but I feel like there's a little bit more to say, perhaps.
Because we didn't, at least my fan page, we didn't want anything to do with it. Once we realized it was commandeered or it wasn't gotten in the right way, my team wanted nothing to do with it. And that was part of what started this whole downfall, I guess, is because I told all of my team to get off that Discord channel. Once I realized that they had basically commandeered it from you, and I knew it was yours, and I knew how they got it. So I told all my whole team, I'm like, everybody off. Well, the only one that wouldn't listen was the one who wouldn't give the ownership back to you. So yeah, we already had a Discord channel. Bad Sector made it months ago. So if we wanted one, we should have made it from that. Not go to, you know, somebody who worked very hard to make it what his was and had 1,000 followers, I think, at the time.
Yeah, right.
And just suddenly say, oh, he's got a lot of followers. Yeah, we'll take that. I mean, to me, it just looked like we were being pirates. And that's what it looked like, and that's why I told my team, no, I want nothing to do with it. I want everybody off from it. And that's probably why I ended up getting fired.
Yeah, I definitely understand that. Now they're just hiring new people who is going into the same trap. Being treated poorly or something. Well, or something. Well, they definitely are being treated poorly. We have learned that. Let's see here. We can do a little bit more questions. We can do one more or two more, depending on how long this takes. So, why do players with bad reputations become allowed to be mods and stay mods?
I think, well, part of it was everybody has to fill out the same application process. You're brought in. People who are bringing you in do not know you at all in the game. Now, right. you can tell the higher ups, you know, like there's been instances where some people came in and I'm like, oh, I know them from my server set, they're trouble, or I know them from other groups or pages on Facebook for this, and they're really just here to cause trouble. And they're like, and warn that these players that have turned mods are not, you know, going to help, but more there for themselves. It's you know, there's no, hey, here's a checklist of all the good players, all the troublemakers. You know, you kind of just live and learn with that. And that are bad, they're either going to take over everything, as example A, or they're not going to make it very long within the moderating thing.
Yeah, because from my, like, I'll talk a little bit about bad sector here. Like, instead of going to me saying like, hey, hello Athena, I don't like that you gave away an account, why did you do that? Or, hey Athena, I didn't like you making that joke about being like a developer. Instead of going to me and talking about it, he went straight to the developers, well, the higher ups, and tried to get me fired. And that's just a good example of a bad player, in my opinion, with a, because you don't straight up go to the, like, I don't understand. Why didn't he just go to me? And I could have deleted the video, or I could have done something else to fix it, but instead of doing that, he just went above my head. And I don't like that people can just do that, and that for me is an example of well, not necessarily a bad player, but definitely a person who does not care a lot about the mods he's working with. Because if he just goes there and, hey, I want to fire you, I want to fire you, I want to fire you, instead of talking to the moderators themselves, if anything, he is the one acting like a developer. Just
right, and there was a lot of, I mean, a lot of players just don't like mods because there's that misconception there that mods are devs, or mods can go into the game and fix things, or mods can give you stuff, they just choose not to. And just for anybody listening that doesn't know that, mods find out everything at the same time as players. If it pops up on fan page, that's when we find out about it. If it pops up in forums, that's when we find out about it. There's no, hey, in a couple days, this is coming up. We don't know any of that. We also do not have access to gift codes. We don't have access to going into players' accounts. And so people would get mad at mods and say, oh, well, you're a bad mod because you won't do XYZ for me. And it wasn't, we couldn't do that. All we could do is say, hey, devs, here's a suggestion, or hey, devs, this player is having trouble. But because they didn't get fixed what they wanted fixed, or they, you know, didn't get the rewards they wanted or whatever, they would call us bad mods. So I think that's part of the misconception that all mods are bad as well, because not all mods are bad. We really did fight for the players, and to the point to where they would threaten to fire us, or they did fire us for just fighting for the players. And
yeah, that's what I've been doing all along.
All mods are bad, you know, and there's some mods that come in that do not have good reputations within the communities and stuff, and that's really on them. As for me, I always, if I did go into the X server chat, I tried to help, I talked, I was friends with a lot of players. I have a big guild, I'm friends with my guild, you know, so it's all about how you respect players. And as someone who saw both sides of it, I've seen mods go in and they were just straight up rude, power tripped. They had no respect come back to them. I went in there and talked as a player. I never threw my, hey, you're a mod, you don't need to do this. And I didn't have any complaints that I know about. So it's really, you know, it all depends on how you treat players, how they think of you, as if you're a good mod or a bad mod.
Yeah, like, people look at mods like developers, like they can solve everything. They're world champions at helping with everything. They can do /give Topaz 999, but they cannot really do that, can they? Moderators are just like players, except moderators have to deal with the developers' crap.
You were on my server, Athena, and S2. You can go look at my character. I'm far from anything spectacular, and I was the leader. So you think if anybody could get stuff for free, it'd be me. No, we didn't get nothing.
Yeah,
we
like,
got the same pay everybody else did.
I'm not even in the 1 billion player club, and I did the modding thing for 7 months. So we don't get anything special. Like, if a new mount comes out, we have to pay for it or earn it just like everybody else does.
Yeah, and that's just horrible. Well, it's fair. Never mind. It's not horrible. It's
I mean,
fair.
it's fair. We're all still players. We're players before we're mods. You know, we just had to go in, and our job was to just basically be the go-between players and devs. But it did suck because, you know, here you see all these people with these really cool mounts that you want, and you can't get it, and they're not going to give it to you, you know, and there's no, hey, instead of paying me this week, can I have this instead? They don't do those kinds of things for you. There's no actual advantage to being a mod.
Yeah, there's only you use a lot of time. You spend a lot of time helping players. That's a good thing, to be honest. But when the leadership doesn't appreciate it or respond to, for example, bug reports or suggestions, like
Mike, you're flashing, so I think you can talk if you say something.
Yeah.
Can you guys hear me now?
Yes, I can. No.
I've been listening to everything you guys have been saying. The first thing is a lot of the reason that I think the game is walking away from being player friendly because I don't think they care for us. It just seems the more and more every time there's issues, they put out some glorious extra. Oh, if you recharge, we're gonna like double your recharge stuff, or we're gonna give you all these resources, but yet they're not fixing the things that need to be fixed. So it kind of like, here, let's just clog their mind with, you know, free gifts and stuff. So maybe they won't, you know, drive us crazy. A lot of the new mods that come in that always ask us, or they start off with like, oh my God, I got so many suggestions. I'll take them to our mod doc and I'm like, okay, here's the mod doc we've had since day one. Here's every suggestion that's ever been turned in. And you could go through probably about 1,000 suggestions, and they might have used maybe 5 or 6 that they credited to anything on the mod doc. But they pretty much want to do it their way. And our team fought everything. My biggest push, which I've already talked to you, Athena, I told you that I was fighting for the way that they took it. And I found out personally, they said that they wanted your Discord because you had a higher fan base and they wanted it to already be established rather than set up their own and gain the players. They just felt that they could go forward and take your stuff.
Yeah, they're like, hey, nice house you have there. Let me have it, please. Thanks.
Right.
I'll take that house. Thanks.
And that's where I got fired on my shift, no meeting. Ozal came in and told me that my services were no longer necessary, that they didn't need the drama, and it's just not about this Discord thing, which I tried to say, no, you're right. It's not about the Discord thing. It's how you guys went about getting it. And it's about, you keep saying, oh, you're not going to put a mod team on there, but now you're talking about putting a mod team on there. You're going to have a team leader and a senior or mini seniors, and then you're going to have juniors answering it. It was supposed to be a player channel for players to go and talk and have fun and talk to each other and not be moderated. But now
everything will be moderated, and you can be banned for whatever reason. For what?
Right. Well, Beatrix was taking over everything. We were on fan page talking to other players, and all of a sudden we were being banned. Our accounts were being banned left and right. I'd go and set up another one to go back in, like, why am I being banned? And that one would disappear again too, which, you know, there's a TOS for a way that we ban people off the fan page. And if we're not violating the TOSs, who gives them the authority to ban us? There's only one person. But yet, when you go and talk to the mods that are there now that are controlling fan page, they'll tell you they were told that Beatrix is no longer a part of fan page, that she's gone or whatever. But yet, I have screenshots where it shows she was actually on the page deleting or banning the mods that were on fan page talking.
Yeah. Now I wanna say a little bit of stuff. If you guys can see on my screen right now, if you want to.
What's that?
So if you can see on my stream, you don't have to because you're on your phone. But what happened was, A loyal moderator, a very good moderator to be honest, in the Discord, who's been a moderator since, in the old Discord, since probably March or April or something like that. They've been a mod for almost the entire life of the Discord. They did a great job. They were never fired. And I think it was 2 days ago or something, Beatrix just said to this player, "Hi, I'm really sorry, but I don't think I can keep you on the Discord team. You're far too young. We can recruit you once you hit 16 years old. Hope you understand." And then just best wishes, kissy face. Like, you just don't. Why does age matter? Like, this person has done such an incredible job, and they're just fired right like that. Like,
that's because the Discord is going official, and with it being an official GT Arcade thing, you have to be a certain age to be a moderator. It's also a power thing. She was there with you.
Yeah.
So you're not there anymore. So they're going to get rid of it. They're going to make it look like you never existed on there, because that is going to be the official channel. So they have to get rid of the mods and stuff that aren't part of the actual moderator team. And unfortunately, with that comes an age thing as well. So she's probably for the fact that it's going official, but when you work for the mod team, you have to be of a certain age.
Yeah, that's kind of stupid, to be honest, because they don't get paid the real money. The reason there's an age limit...
Well, don't get me wrong either. I mean, when we first started working 2 years ago with GT Arcade, we had 2 people in charge. And it was it started off being very player friendly. We were told to, do what's best for the players. We were told to, come up with suggestions and ideas. And then when leadership changed and people got moved and stuff like that, it got a little worse, but it was still good. And then when the BP merge came with GT Arcade, that's when things started getting a little rocky. Then we had a person come in that was really good. She worked really well with the team. Her on-screen name was Spill.
Yeah, right.
And then she was let go or quit. I don't know the full story there either. And then a new person came in, and with this new person, Beatrix, we had a chain of command, and Beatrix chose not to follow it and went right to that person, and then now this is what happened. We're commandeering Discords, we're firing the whole Facebook team. I don't even know but GT Arcade, when we first started, was player friendly. I'm not sure that they're not player friendly anymore. I just think there's certain people that they have in places right now that are more worried about their image and their concerns than they are about the game and the company.
Yeah, right. Because the game used to be very player friendly, because I did get... I felt like I did well, and like some of the suggestions I said actually happened. But nowadays, yeah, as I mentioned earlier in the stream, it's like it's a 50-50% chance to get responded to, and if you get responded to, it may be an copied answer, it feels like sometimes. Like, they just have templates.
That's where we fought. We fought tooth and nail. We were called robots all the time. And we fought tooth and nail to try to tell players that, no, that's not true. We actually are human beings. We actually do care. We're actually in this game. We play the game, and we're not seeds. We don't get any bonuses. No, we tried to ask them if they could just give us a special outfit so, you could tell who a moderator was. And they're like, no, then people would consider you to be a seed, and that would start a bunch of stuff. So we never got any bonuses and anything. I mean, I think the only bonus I would say a mod has technically is you do have a direct connect to the proper channels to get people to look at your account if something's wrong with your account, or to get somebody to look at an issue that's happening right now. But being over in China and being on the mod shifts that we were on, those guys only work 8 hours, 12-hour shifts, so they're not there half the day. That's why when we lost the servers for 2 days, we had they were at home in the typhoons, and we couldn't get a hold of them. They were actually having to call other mods to go into the listen servers and try to have some of the listen servers take over as the main server. But that was a mess. And we tried to ask them to have at least one dev on, for every like 8 hours, they could rotate. That way we always had somebody there. But they don't care. I mean, it's their way or the highway. And ever since they took over BP came in with their management system, which they popped their collar saying that they were brought on by Yuzu because their management team has outstanding management skills. Well, I beg to differ, because I'll tell you what, GT Arcade's management, when they were managing the mod team, we were doing pretty dang good. But I will say the one leader that they brought to us, Spill, and sorry if that's her username, but Spill was an awesome leader. She had heart. She cared about us. She cared about the players, and that's why they let her go. And it seems like when you start adding everything together, if you don't want to just be pro company and do what the company wants you to do, I came on to help the game and help the players.
Yeah.
Not to sit here, I don't want to be a cookie cutter. I don't want to copy and paste an answer. I want to tell the player, I was told you're not allowed to apologize to the player for having an issue. We just want you to say, hi, what's your in-game name and server, and we will notify the devs as soon as possible. That's not talking to the players.
Yeah, right. Well, I have one last question before we end it off for today, and then we will continue tomorrow, maybe, or the day after. I'm working tomorrow, so I'm not sure how it will be. But this is kind of a controversial question because there's many different opinions on this. This is more of an opinionated answer and not necessarily a fact. Do developers put fake players in-game to hold competition?
As far as we know, we have not found any seeds. That's the honest truth. But all this fluffy BR, I've been playing League of Angels 1 for 4 years, and my BR is half of what my BR is on League of Angels 2, and I've been here 2 years. So it's like they just give you all this stuff to blow your BR up, and and that's where one of our problems. A lot of players were coming to us and like, oh my God, I'm a 200 million BR, and I just got beat by a 900,000 BR, and we try to tell them it's like the numbers don't count. It depends on your setup, your team, your equipment, and there's just so many things that all incorporate together. But it's definitely not having any seeds that we found. Even the developers are not allowed to play the game.
Yeah, right.
That's been every time we've had new developers come in, we would say something like, they would say, well, can we come onto your account? We got to check it from there. And I would say when they first started doing them, like, don't you have your own account? They're like, we're not allowed to play. We have, our job is to create. So.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's any seeds now. Is it geared more toward the people that recharge? Definitely. I mean, I think as most people have seen, all the competitions are geared mostly for people that spend money. We tried to say that they needed to come out with things that were a little more balanced so that free players could kind of win once in a while. It took a while for LOA 1 to do that. I mean, I played LOA 1 for years, and you can even talk to Mike because Mike's played it too. It took them a long time to finally get to where the free players were getting the stuff. It does end up happening. And I think you will see it in LOA 2 as well, but right now it's geared more for the people that spend money. I mean, it's become a money-hungry machine.
Yeah. Well, this was a fun thing. I hope you guys did enjoy this, the ones watching. Hope it was enlightening to everyone. My professional opinion, it's not professional, but I do not recommend you to become a moderator. You heard it. I do not recommend people to become a moderator for this
I
game.
don't.
I don't either, and not with the way we were treated. And I mean, Julie and I were on for 7 months. Mike and Bo were there for years, and the amount of respect given is so little. I call them blood diamonds. It's the amount of time you put into it, and the amount of respect you're given, and the amount of pay you're given. They all do not equal each other. It's absolutely not worth it to do.
Yeah. Well, I want to thank you guys for being here. I want to thank you guys for watching as well, the ones watching.
Thank you,
And
Jeff.
we will do
thank
another
you.
live stream soon. I will let you guys know. Have a good one.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, it was
Take
very
care.
fun. Take care.